Hello and welcome back to another episode of Strong Collectors Comics. My name is Jordan and I'm joined today, as ever, by my plucky co-host slash sidekick, Dakota. And we've done a couple ranking videos so far. This time we're hopping over to DC and we're going to be doing a ranking video of our top Justice Leaguers.
Yeah, so I tried to do a compiling of about 40 Justice League characters. I may have missed those like super obscure ones or ones that maybe are on the older side that we haven't read a lot of comics. And even some of these are pretty obscure. I would be surprised if you know them all, Jordan, because some of them I barely know. So again, with all of our ranking lists, you should probably take it with a grain of salt. Maybe we haven't read your favorite character's best story. Leave us a comment what we should be reading because
It's not every Justice League, right? This is just kind of most of what you think of when you think Justice League. You're going to get most of these guys, right? And there's going to be some personal bias, as we always say. So, not necessarily power level. There's some of that. We're still working on what the algorithm is for everything that goes into one of these rankings. But when we figure it out, we'll share it with you.
right. Like to me, it's got to be a cool looking character, maybe some good stories. I don't know. I usually try to fight for some of the ones that I think are just cool, just even based off of looks. We'll have some of that in this. But before we get into the ranking, Jordan, we've got to thank our sponsors over at Comic Capsule for not only today's episode, but the second giveaway on Strong Collector Comics.
That's right, Dakota. We will be giving away a free comic book capsule, and inside of that will be Spawn number 350. Now, I think comic capsules are pretty cool for several reasons. First of all, I personally, Dakota, don't have a whole ton of comics that I'd like to get graded or necessarily send away, and I don't always have the time and money for that. What is cool about comic capsules, you can put your comic in there. There's a nice flip top so you can actually switch out different comics. So you're not stuck with whichever one you put in there, right? Those are nice for us because we use a lot of different displays in our comics. You can also hang them on the wall if you'd like to do that. A nice feature is the UV protection. I'm in an apartment, so I don't have, unfortunately, my own collecting display layer just yet. So sometimes that pesky sunlight gets in, and I don't want it to ruin my comics. So that's a nice feature. There are also the fact that if you're carrying these around, so you're going to go get them signed, you can get them in there, comics protected, and they do fit into your standard comic book boxes, which is nice for storage. They can stack. And as well, they also have the relief corners. So wake up, go to the bathroom middle of the night, run into your toy shelf. Guess what? Your comics fall. They're going to be okay. So we're pretty excited about the fact that we have several of these that we are giving away, and we will be doing that on this video. So in order to be entered to do that, first of all, you got to be subscribed. Second of all, just go into the comments and let us know what you would like us to rank next. We've done some kind of teams, we've done groups of characters, so we're open to suggestions. So let us know what you would like to see in our next tier ranking list.
So you can see all the rules in the details down below. And then make sure you get those entries in because we'll be doing that giveaway here. And we'll give you a couple weeks to get your entries in, but get them in quick. Now, Jordan, without any further ado, let's get into some of these rankings. So here is our group of Justice League characters. Maybe some of them have been in the Justice League a little bit more than others. Our tiers, I kind of switched them up almost on every episode. I haven't quite nailed down what I want my tiers to be. If you've got suggestions in the comments, go ahead and leave them. We've got the GOAT up at the top. Those are the best of the best. We've got the Love 'em. Below that is the Like 'em. Meh. And then nah. So, like we said, there may be some differences between our lists, but Jordan and I are going to try to come to a consensus on our list at least, and then you guys feel free to tell us what we got wrong down below. So Jordan, do you have a strong feeling on who you want to start with?
That is a great question. I go right. My eyes went to Superman, Dakota. I got to say, just as one of the, I would say, kind of starting at the top of what we think of in our Justice League affiliations. I'm of course going to say GOAT for Superman. I mean, I don't think you can really think of the Justice League without Superman.
I think in that same vein, I would assume you're going to say Batman is GOAT status as well?
Yeah. Oh, of course. Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. You're a mainstream boy. I'm just kidding. I think
Oh, come on, dude.
I no, I totally agree. Batman is GOAT. There's no beating Batman. I'm sure somebody down below is going to be telling us he shouldn't be on the list even at all, but Batman is GOAT status Justice League member. Um, who else are you feeling strongly about here?
Ooh, like as a goat or just in general?
Even if it's not strongly, but you're just like strongly, that's a like him. That's a very mid level Justice League member
Hmm.
or a terrible
Okay.
Justice League member.
I would say, or a terrible one. I'm going to look at the Martian Manhunter,
Okay.
Dakota, and I do love the Martian Manhunter. I gotta say, it's always been a favorite of mine. It's always felt to me a lot like the Justice League equivalent of the Vision. You know, he
Yeah.
kind of got that stoic loner type thing going on, misunderstood. I mean, very similar power set, at least with the flying, super strength, phasing, all that stuff.
Hmm.
But I like that he's an alien, but it's a very different kind of alien than Superman in many ways, right? Where
Right.
he's more of like more rejected and like an out or feels like an outsider. And I always like that part of him. Also
Hmm.
love the fact that he's obsessed with Oreo cookies. That's
Me
just a
too.
great that's just a great weakness. Um, am I wild to make Martian Manhunter a goat, or is he a love
You
him?
know, I think he's it's a hot take enough that I'll accept him as a goat because I agree. I think he's
Okay.
very cool. I've loved him in the animated series. The stories that I've read with him are pretty fun.
Hmm.
And like you said, it's kind of one of those. He's not like a lot of other characters on this list, so
Hmm.
I like him.
All right.
How about let's do some Green Lanterns next? I'm just going to bring them up here on the board so we can get them all next to
Okay.
each other. So I've got Hal Jordan, I've got Kyle Rayner, and I've got Guy Gardner.
Ooh.
Where do you think
Okay.
they fall on this list?
Oh, that's a good
Because I think this
question.
is where we're going to get some, because I think we're going to have
Mm,
variations on where they lie, but I think fans are definitely going to feel strongly about this. So
right.
let's go Hal Jordan first. Where do you think he
I'm.
falls?
I mean, Hal Jordan. You've got the classic element, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I always liked Hal Jordan. Was kind of my favorite Green Lantern. I
Same.
think as I got older, I found out the whole like goes rogue, turns into parallax,
Yeah.
and destroys. You know, uh, a lot of sort of the villain arc there. Um,
Right.
that's a, I mean, I don't know how that affects then our algorithm of where he ranks, but I think that's even was kind
Yeah.
of a cool because I'm trying to remember how that happens. He kind of just doesn't Central or not Central City. Where's he at? Central City's Flash. Wherever he's at,
Coast
it's
City.
Coast City or something. Gets like
Mm-hmm.
doesn't he get like obliterated and then he kind of just loses it and
I think
goes
so.
nuts.
Yeah.
Um, if I remember right. Didn't brush up on that.
Oh, they're gonna let you know in the comments, Jordan.
I know, I know. Let me hear it. Uh so are we going like we're just ranking each one at a time or we're looking at them
Yeah,
and
yeah, one at a
saying who
time.
stacks against who?
Yeah, you can
Okay.
go one at a time. I think Hal Jordan is the highest
All
ranking
right.
for me.
I think so too. Is he
Do you put him as a goat
I
or a
think
love
I'd go
him
with
or where?
I think he's got to be a goat myself, but
Okay, okay. I think
I don't know.
the parallax thing does kind of because I when we ranked Cyclops on the X Men one, I brought Cyclops down because he
Right.
killed Professor X, his villain arc.
Mm.
So I think because there's three of them, I think goat is acceptable because I also do like
All right.
Kyle Rayner quite a bit. So he would
Right.
be at least at a like him level, if not love him.
Okay. I think
What about for
Love'em's
you?
fair.
Okay.
I'd give that to Kyle Rayner. I think he was kind of it's always difficult to like pass the mantle or like
Hmm.
introduce a new character as a Green Lantern or not just a Green Lantern,
Oh,
just in any general sense. But I think what?
Miss John Stewart down there.
Oh yeah, I was
I
about
was
to ask about that if he was. I was
I,
gonna say we gotta have John
when I
Stewart on
realized I
there.
didn't have him up there. I was like, oh man, I'm going to get roasted for this, but I do have him on the
Right.
list.
Okay. So I could give Kyle Rayner love him. I think that's fair.
Okay. Hmm.
Uh,
How about
I
Guy
love.
Gardner?
Guy Gardner. I mean, he always to me was just obviously it's kind of the intention more of the tool Green Lantern. Um,
Mhm.
I just significantly remember him from the Doomsday storyline, where I remember being
Mhm.
like, "These guys are in trouble, and this is the best Green Lantern they've got." I was like, "Come on." Um,
Right.
isn't that famous panel where Batman just punches him out with like one hit or something? Um,
Yeah, I think so.
and that haircut, but I kind of have a soft spot for him despite all this.
Mm.
So maybe for
Okay.
me that'd be a maybe a like him personally,
I
but I
like
don't know.
him.
What do you think?
Okay.
I
Yeah.
don't
I
think
mean,
he's a nah.
I was thinking a like him or a meh. He definitely not a nah, but
I
it's
think he's
kind of one of those
entertaining
like,
enough.
yeah, he fits the niche that he's trying to that they wrote him for. So for that, I can't fault him too much because he's doing what he's supposed to do.
Right.
All right. The last Green Lantern, where do we got John?
I mean, I think I, like many people through the Justice League show,
Mhm.
developed a big fandom for John Stewart.
Yeah.
But again, I think another one where it's like you kind of these legacy characters, but one that really came into his own as
Mhm.
a separate character.
Yeah.
Does that leave him as a goat, or is that a love him, or is
I
that
think
too
I would say
generous?
love him. I think
Okay. I can give you that
and
because I don't
I'm
know if we should
yeah,
have two Green Lantern goats.
I think that makes sense. And if one of them has to be a goat, I agree that it should be Hal Jordan. Let's go a little more maybe off the beaten path, and let's go with Mr. Terrific
Mm-hmm.
next.
Ooh,
Where
okay.
do you think he falls? Super smart dude.
Right.
What do you think?
I, I'm yeah, he's like the smartest man on the planet, if I remember correctly. I guess
I think
it
so. Yeah.
depends on some of your interpretations, but I think Mister Terrific's pretty cool. I think
Hmm.
another character that I'm hoping is going to get some more, and I think James Gunn is a fan of Mister Terrific because I think he's actually going to be in Superman Legacy. So
Oh, cool.
I'm hoping he kind of gets his time to shine.
Hmm.
Um, I don't know if I'd say goat. I don't think I go that far. Um,
Yeah, I agree.
is he middle?
I'd say
Is
he's
he?
mid tier because he's a cool character, but it's not like he's not for sure Superman, Batman level. I kind of want like, is he Guy Gardner? I feel like Guy Gardner is just going to kind of throw me off now for the
I
rest of
think Guy
this
Gardner
because,
is probably going to go down, but
all right, should we move him to a meh?
yeah, move him down and then give Mister Terrific a spot. I
Yeah,
think
I think that's fair.
just got
Um,
demoted.
yeah. Well, let's keep it off the beaten path for just a little longer and let's go
Okay.
Vixen next.
Ooh,
I think it's a
Vixen.
cool power set. She can kind of like take on the ability of animals, get strong like an elephant and fast like a cheetah.
At that point, though, I'll just call Beast Boy.
True. Yeah. I don't
I
know.
never
It that
really. Maybe I'm just jaded because as a kid, I never liked when they were trying to do that whole love triangle thing with John Stewart
mm,
and remember Justice League Unlimited.
yeah, that's true.
I don't know. Maybe that just left a bad impression on me. But I was always like, "Get out of here, Vixen! What are you doing?" Maybe I just
That's
wanted him to
fair.
be with Hawk Girl. That
Yeah.
was. I'm probably not calling her when I'm assembling my team personally,
So are you
but
going to say nah?
I'm gonna
I
go.
think it's
Nah,
fair. I mean,
we're gonna
somebody's
have to
got to
have
be
some
on that.
Nas. Nah,
Yeah,
somebody's got to be there, man. Sorry.
I think she's a cool character and like maybe I would enjoy more of a solo story, but I think you're right where it's just kind of like maybe I'm called Beast Boy. What I need somebody fast. I'm gonna just have the Flash. I need somebody strong. We got Superman.
Mm-hmm.
She'd be a cool street level style, like
Right.
team her up with Green Arrow, Black Canary, some of
Right.
those guys. But her on a team with Superman and Martian
Mm-hmm.
Manhunter, Green Lantern. Nah.
That's fair.
Who do you want next, Jordan?
Ooh, let's go with Plastic Man.
I feel like he's come back into the good graces of the fans recently. I feel like he was cool for a bit, then he was a joke, and then now he's kind of cool again.
Mm,
I
yeah.
think he's a fun character. I've never
Yeah.
loved the stretchy type of power set, but I think he's probably my favorite stretchy character.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I always liked. I mean, it felt kind of more of that like absurdist comedy element that he
Hmm.
always would bring. I don't think it would usually be like, oh, Plastic Man showed up, like take him seriously, but it was more like
Hmm.
it lets you tell different stories, or just because his powers are kind of weird, you could do like more unique
Yeah,
stuff. Um, I personally got a soft spot, stretchy spot for
I do
Plastic
too.
Man. Um, I think I'd at least give him a like him. I don't know if he's a love him
Yeah,
for me, but I like Plastic Man.
I think I don't know. I would agree. Lycum is as low as he should go.
Okay, would you go higher? All right, I just thought you'd be like, "What are you talking about, man? It's Plastic Man." But
Let's let's maybe see how some of these other ones shake
all
out. But I
right,
think he's going to move up. I think he will.
okay, all right,
Because okay, I'll fill in another love him. For me,
mm-hmm,
I've always loved Captain Atom.
all
I
right.
think Justice League Unlimited really got the ball rolling, and then I've just always thought he was a cool character ever since. Um,
I liked him in. Remember that Public Enemies storyline?
yep,
Remember that where
that was
he
good.
gets like, doesn't he get like punctured and then he like travels to the future because he's so like quantum atomic out or something? That
Mm,
was pretty cool.
yeah.
I think that whole element of like the atomic quantum stuff has a cool nature with Captain Atom. So
Do you agree that he should be in the love him category?
I don't know if I go that far, but if you feel strongly about it, I'll
You'll
defer to your
allow it.
judgment for
All
now.
right, you've earned yourself a leniency from me in one of your future picks.
That's right. Until you start arguing down one of mine. Um, let's go with let's do Black Canary.
Okay, I feel like this is a fan favorite here.
It is a
Tread
fan
lightly,
favorite.
Jordan.
No, I would give her a fair rating. I think I wouldn't go goat.
No,
Um, would I go love him? I don't know. I always thought Black
if
Canaries.
you're gonna go love him, you're using your free
Can I
pass real
pass? What
early
about
here.
like him?
Like him is acceptable. I'll
I
give
don't
you
think you
like
can
him.
go down to meh, dude. It's Black Canary.
I guess, yeah. See, we're going like him.
I'm gonna go with that, just to
Okay.
save you from
I think I
getting
need,
roasted.
yeah, I need to read some more stories with Black Canary because what I've read, which isn't very much, is she's not super cool. I do think she could probably have some cool like standalone stories,
Yeah,
um,
I think there's some
outside of
cool
the Justice
stuff
League.
with definitely some cool Green Arrow stories. I remember
Hmm.
she's in the Longbow Hunters is kind of cool. Like she's doing her own
Mm,
side investigations and stuff. And
okay.
I think to me, I always got like the kind of like the Black Widow vibe of she kind of holds her
Yeah,
own,
that's kind of what I was thinking.
doing her.
Sure.
She's not like crazy powerful, but I mean the fact that she's got like a kind of an ace in her sleeve superpower always kind of was
Hmm.
cool in some circumstances. So,
I will say that I think she's cooler than Black Widow,
mm-hmm.
but maybe that's also I just need to read some more solo Black Widow stories. But
Mm.
also, am I gonna do that? Probably not anytime soon. So I think Black Canary is cooler.
All right.
Um, how about Aquaman? Because Aquaman,
Mm,
I liked him back in the day when he had the like hook hand, the long hair, and the
mm,
beard.
right.
This kind of more classic look, not so
Yeah. The
much.
the ultimate problem with Aquaman is anytime it seems like anytime anyone tries to make him cool, they play against the convention of like you're a joke, you talk to fish thing, and like
Hmm.
whether it's the comic books, whether it's like even the movies more recently, it's like almost like they always have to acknowledge, like, we know this guy's a joke, but we're trying to make him cool.
Right.
But I remember kind of liking, yeah, that 90s era where it felt like they didn't lean into that so much. They're like, we're just going to kind of play it straight and make him cool rather
Hmm.
than like,
Yeah.
I know you think I'm silly because I talk to fish, and like, I don't know. That to me was always, you
Which
kind
is
of
so crazy because
destroy his credibility.
yeah, but like his like Marvel counterpart with Namor like has never been a joke. Like Namor's always been like,
Right.
don't mess with the sea. I'm down here, but if you make me come up there, you're not gonna like it.
Right.
Where it's
Yeah.
like Aquaman comes up and it's like, oh hey fish boy.
Right.
So
Yeah, I don't know. I never liked that portrayal. So maybe I just haven't seen the right creators Maybe there's some one.
Hmm.
I know the Jeff Johns. I did like those Aquamans.
Hmm.
Wasn't that Jeff Johns? Yeah, when he was doing for
Yeah.
the New 52
Yeah. I
with
read
like
some
the
of those, and those
trench
were
and
pretty good.
stuff. Those were actually
Yeah.
cool.
Hmm.
So all that said, that's a long rant for me to
It's a long
say.
way to put it in the nah category, or what?
To put him in a what? I wouldn't put him in
The
a
nah.
Matt. I would.
I agree. I
I don't.
think
He's not one of my goats.
no.
Um,
I think like him is fine.
I think Lycom's
Very
fair for
very
Aquaman.
middle of the road type of hero.
Right.
Classic. You love him, but you also laugh at him a little bit.
That's right.
How about all right? Pick me out a nah character, Jordan. We need to fill in the bottom of the list here.
Uh,
Who's a nah to
ooh,
you?
nah.
I mean, I'll hit you real quick with Supergirl because if we got Superman up top, Supergirl is a fine character. Don't get me wrong, but as far as a Justice League member goes, for me, she's much lower ranking. Whether that's meh or nah, what do you think?
Which one did you say?
Supergirl,
Supergirl. I guess I don't always think of her a ton in the Justice League context myself.
right?
I know she's teamed up, but that's you're going. You said not in like the
One of the
bottom
bottom
two.
two, bottom two.
Ooh.
One of those is where I would put her.
Oh, come on, dude.
Can't have everybody at the top of the list here, Jordan.
All right. I don't think she's in the same category as Vixen, though. I mean, come on, man.
All right, that's fine. If you want to put her with Guy Gardner, I think
All right.
that's
I think
reasonable.
I'll put her there.
All right, I'll give you another hot take, not
Okay.
to cut you off of whoever you think should be at the bottom of the list.
Mm-hmm.
I have never personally been a fan of Adam.
Yeah. I could give you that too.
Where do you want to put him? Very bottom? Meh? Nah?
Were you thinking nah?
I'd probably put him to clear down there.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. He's got the scientist thing going on. That's kind of valuable. Bring
I'd
some
rather have Mr.
research and
Terrific on my
stuff.
team.
Okay. All right. I'll give it to you.
All right.
Yeah. Just shrinking. I mean, you at least got to
I
go
get
with
that,
like
you
a
know.
yellow jacket thing. You can shrink and grow.
Right.
Give me that.
So I get that he would have his uses and like there's a cool story here or there, but to me the character is
No,
just
I agree. If it's like, hey, Darkseid's invading, who are we gonna call? I'm not gonna be like, Adam, need you,
I
bro.
don't know, you have him shrink and crawl up there. Maybe it works.
Well, we saw in Invincible, Dakota, that does not work as well as you'd
True.
think. Spoiler
True.
alert. Okay. Uh okay, so we're rounding out some of those bottom ones. I never quite was into the like fire and ice
Mm.
shtick.
Gonna put them in the nah?
Yeah, I don't know, man. Do you think I'm out of line for that?
I I don't know. I don't necessarily disagree. I like the idea of them. I just don't know that I've read anything that like really makes me be like, no, Jordan, we've got to have these higher. I really want
Okay.
like when if I ever get DC Unlimited, like that'll be towards the top of my list is trying to find something cool with them in it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I just from my experience so far, and we're gonna get blasted for it, but
Right.
I accept a bottom ranking for them. Put them in
There's
the
only
Nas.
so many spots on the
Yeah,
javelin ship for us, dude. I'm sorry.
right. I mean,
Can't
maybe I
bring
made this a little
everybody.
bit too hard for us, where I have like goats, love 'ems, man, Nas. I should have just kept it with A, B, C, D type of. Maybe we'd feel better about putting them in
Mm,
these
right.
categories.
Yeah, maybe
But
it's the verbiage you chose.
we've made our bed, Jordan. We're gonna
Yeah.
sleep in it together now.
I love the sound of that. Okay, what about Booster Gold?
Booster Gold, I think, is kind of fun. I think you're crazy if you try to put him as a goat, but
Oh,
I'm
no
not going to
way,
let you put
dude.
him at the bottom.
Is he is
I think
he is
he's
he middle?
like a
Like him.
like him. I think he's a like him. Yeah, I'll give you a like him.
I
I
just
think,
think the whole kind of reminds me of the Guy Gardner aesthetic of like
yeah,
kind of toolish, but He has
Mhm.
those moments where it's like he
Yeah.
shines through. I
Mhm.
think the whole
And whenever
concept of
I
like the future technology being used as like to impress people is kind of funny.
Mhm.
Um,
Whenever I think of Booster Gold, I'm also thinking of Blue Beetle
the Blue
and
Beetle,
like
of
the
course.
um, Todd Cord. That's his name, right?
OG Ted Cord, yeah.
Ted Cord, yeah. Um, I would put Ted Cord in no less than Love him. It's a little hard to put him in GOAT because he's not as classic of a Justice League member. But I think like what
Hmm.
did it for me, what's solidified him at the top of the list was the Doomsday story, where it's like Superman can barely take him.
Hmm.
So what is Blue Beetle even trying to do? But he still tries and then, you know, gets his shit rocked. But I thought that was pretty cool.
He's
I
valiant.
respected him
He's
for
got
it.
he's got
Yeah.
heart. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's fun. I always like the classic Blue Beetle for sure. So
Do you love him or do you goat him?
I don't think I goat him, but if you're
Okay.
gonna
That's fair.
fight
No,
for a
that's
love
fair.
him, I'm not even sure about that, but I'll give it to you.
You really, you don't even think I love him
I
that
don't know,
hard?
dude. I mean, at that point, you might as well like sub in. Yeah, I mean, I guess he's got like the tech element, so that's helpful.
I feel like he's kind of like a true Batman, where like Batman's just OP because of the character, but like Blue Beetle is like
Like a more
what it would actually
realistic,
be
just
like to
just
be
a
a dude.
dude with all this
Yeah.
stuff. All right, that's a
Yeah.
cool. Okay, that's a good take. All right,
All
I'll
right.
give it to you.
All right.
How about
Sticking with Blue
Okay,
Beetles,
yeah, you go for
let's switch over to Jaime Reyes.
it.
How do you feel about him? A little bit more techie, kind of more on the Iron Man
Right,
side of things in my mind. He's
that's
kind of like a
true.
sentient suit.
Yeah, that's kind of an interesting component, I
I
think.
think he's much more useful in a battle than, just a dude.
Right,
But do I
but
love him as much as I
do you
love
like the character as much?
Right? I would say for me, he would fit more in like the Teen Titans category. Like I like the kid aspect of him. I don't know if I'd put him up with the Justice Leaguers as much, even though he could
Yeah, he
hold his
doesn't have
own.
quite as much experience as some of
Hmm.
our top tier.
So where does that leave him for you, Jordan? I'll let you decide his fate.
Eh, what were you feeling? A like him or a meh?
I think meh is I don't know because
That's
I
fair
don't know I
for
like
me.
the character, but we'll go meh. But I think if we were making a more of like a Teen Titans list, he would be higher on my list there. So,
That's
because I
fair.
did love him in
I
Young
agree with that.
Justice, that was fun. They had like a whole arc
Right.
of the different, like they had Blue
Hmm.
Beetle, Red Beetle, Black Beetle. I
Right.
don't know. Um, so yeah, let's go Hawkman and Hawk Girl next. I don't know if they rank in the
Okay.
same category or if they're on different levels. I think
Yeah, I feel like I always think of
Hawk
him as.
Girl
Hmm.
as like a couple or like as a pairing, but I think Hawk Girl is a little bit more popular because of the show, because Hawkman wasn't really in it,
It's
or at
true.
least it was more of like when like the finale. But I've always liked Hawkman a little bit more, but also Hawk Girl's pretty cool.
Hmm.
What do you think?
Uh, yeah, I'm probably more partial to Hawkman myself, but
Okay.
Hawk Girl is again. I I thought she was pretty cool in those shows.
I feel like I could rank them both and like them unless you wanted to bump one up or down.
Where does that leave us?
So where do you think would that's where I'm starting them there.
Okay,
Do they both deserve to stay
one
there?
goes up.
Does one need to go up? Well,
Hmm.
one can go up, or one could. They don't have to move.
I say we keep them for now and see
Okay.
how the rest of our list is shaping up. So I might have at
All
least
right.
another love them or two that I need to get
Okay.
in
I
there.
was gonna say two more possible goats would be Flash and Wonder Woman. I don't know if you want to just throw them up there right now.
Yeah, I think you got it, dude. I mean,
Okay.
it's not very controversial, but we're not here just for the controversy as much as we love our hot takes.
Right.
But and I guess within that, you got a couple of your flashes, but I would
Mhm.
say the Barry Allen, Wally West are interchangeable as
Right.
goats for me. So
Yes. Agreed.
I think we covered both.
Mhm. That's why I didn't really put both of them. I was like, either way, it's gonna go in the GOAT category, and they're just
Hmm.
up there. And, like, the suit variation's not I wouldn't know what the difference is between the pictures, really.
Right.
Um,
Hmm.
okay. What do you got next, Jordan?
I was gonna say the question.
Okay.
I'm kind of a sucker for the question, Dakota, and you're probably gonna. I don't know what you're gonna say about that, but I mean,
How
if
high
you
do you
put
want him?
Ted, I mean, again, though, he's very like a specific character, right?
Right.
Like you need a very specific story for the
Mhm.
question. Like even there's a lot of situations where Blue Beetle would probably be more useful than the question, even though
Yeah.
I think of them similarly. I at
Mhm.
least got to give him a like him from me, but you might say that's
No,
too wild.
I think he's a really cool character. I think another one that I think if we were building like this could be another cool episode too, is like we build different Justice League teams for different
Right.
scenarios. Like more of a street
Yeah.
level team, like put him, Black Canary, even Blue Beetle and Green
Right.
Arrow
If
on a
it's like,
team, and I
hey,
think that'd
we
be a
got to get
sweet
some
book.
information and figure out what's going on, I'd call the question before I'd
Right.
call Captain Atom, but
Very true.
it depends. Depends on what we're talking about here. So
Hmm.
I think that's fair. How about my guy, Dr. Fate?
Dr. Fate. I've never read I don't know if I've ever read a single book with Dr. Fate in it. Maybe I have, and he was just like a very background
Mm.
character. But I've always loved Dr. Fate. Like he was cool in Justice League Unlimited. He was cool in Young Justice. I love the
Hmm.
look of him. To me, personally, like I said, I haven't read anything with him, but I think he's way cooler than Doctor Strange. Even
Mm. Yeah, I think Dr. Fate definitely has yeah, I think bringing that mystical element, I think the whole kind of duality of what happens when he puts on the helmet, it's sort of like you surrender control in a way, but there's kind of an interesting exchange of like you're
hmm
tapping into this power, but you're not quite sure where it's going to lead you, which I think
yeah,
is a cool. I at least want to give him a love him for me, but I don't know if
I love him.
that's too much
Yeah,
for
I'd
you.
put him in the
Yeah.
love him.
All right.
I like him. He's great. Um, let's go Bloodwind.
Mm.
Now he was also in the story with Doomsday when he first appeared. Um,
Wasn't he Martian Manhunter in disguise back then though?
I'm not sure about that specific storyline, but I know that like for a while that was like Martian Manhunter was disguised as him. I don't know
And he
why
turns out to be
exactly
a
he was
real dude.
disguised as him. Yeah, he's a real character.
Okay.
Because
All
it
right.
seems kind of like Elsa Bloodstone, where it's like the Bloodstone is like passed down from generation. Because it was like I think I had to do a quick like other YouTube video on it to
A
find out who he
refresher.
was because I've always thought he was cool. But I think it was like a
Hmm.
group of slaves like got together, put a bunch of power into the stone, killed the slave master, and
Mm.
then escaped. And then they kind of passed this down. So it's kind of like some like dark magic, but it gives him his powers. And um, I don't think he's quite Superman level strength, but he's got that like enhanced strength
Hmm.
and flight. He's got some magic powers.
All right.
Not really been around for a while, but I would like to see him come back into comics sometime.
Okay. So where does that lead you?
I mean, it's kind of similar to Doctor Fate, where like the only thing I've ever read with him in it was that Doomsday story. But I remember like reading that Doomsday
Okay.
story and being like, "Dang, who is that guy? I like him. He's cool."
Right.
So for me, it'd be at least to like him. I If you were feeling love him, I wouldn't argue.
No, I definitely am not. But I guess
Okay.
maybe that's just because I don't have the attachment to the character. I think
Where
he'd
if I
he'd
wasn't trying to sway you, where
yeah.
would you put him?
And maybe give him a meh.
Really,
But if you
man.
really like him, I'll
I
let you
think
have
he's
him.
so cool.
I
It's
guess
kind of hard because I
I
like a
mean,
lot of these characers. Maybe
right.
he has to get moved
All
down
right.
at some point, but
Okay. I'll let you have that.
Anybody? Can we
How
fill in
about
the bottom
Mr.
of this?
Miracle?
Anybody?
Oh, okay.
He's one that I would put a little bit
I was
lower, but
gonna.
I don't know about you.
Oh, I like Mr. Miracle. I wanted to read the Tom King Mr. Miracle comics. I just picked them up, and people say very great things. But I think
Mm,
he's fun, just as I love Jack Kirby, Dakota, and
yeah.
going back to the classic Jack Kirby, New Gods, all that stuff. I think he made some pretty cool characters, and I've always just
Hmm.
loved Mr. Miracle's suit. I think he looks sweet.
Yeah. Yeah, it is
Um,
cool.
I think he'd at least have to get a like him, but
All right, I'll give
you're
you a
probably
like
gonna
because
say
I put Bloodwind
I
up there,
know.
so
Yeah,
it's fine. It's
I mean,
fine.
I'd be tempted to go a little higher, but you're probably gonna not let me. So,
um, I think we could fill in a little bit lower for me with Doctor Light,
mm-hmm,
but that's also mainly because
yeah,
I don't know much about her as a character. I think it's her dad that's the like villain, Doctor Light.
mm-hmm.
So,
That's fair.
do you have a
That's
problem
fair
with her
for
being
me.
in the meh or
I
nah?
no problem with that
Which
personally.
one?
Were you saying meh or nah?
Yeah.
I'd probably go bottom tier personally.
Okay. Yeah. Like I said, maybe there's a really good story out there that I just haven't read yet. Let me know in the comments what it is that I need to put on my list. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I know she's a character, but that's kind of as far as my
I
knowledge
know
of her
she
goes.
exists. uh,
um, Another one that I don't think it should be at the bottom of the category or like in the nah category, but I just have never really loved Cyborg being a main part of the
mm,
Justice League. Like I get that
okay,
he's like the technology and all
I
that,
think that's fair.
but I think I like Mr. Terrific as more of that like I mean he doesn't have that like interface with technology, but he's still that super smart dude on the team. I liked him more as the Teen Titans, so maybe that's just because I was growing up in that era. But then I guess shouldn't he eventually grow up like Nightwing grows up? But I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think it doesn't work at all. Him being on the Justice League. I mean, I mean,
Yeah.
recent in the term of general comics that they decided to start doing
Hmm.
that. Um, but I do agree. I usually enjoy him in the context of like that Teen Titans era for sure,
Hmm.
or like kind of the mentor to that team maybe. But
Right. So where
are you
should we
saying
rank him,
he's like a
Jordan?
meh?
I would say
Is
so.
he a
That's
meh
where I
for
would
you,
rank
or is
him.
he a like him?
Yeah. I would put him in the
All
meh.
right,
But if you think he needs to be
I'll give you
higher,
that. Just because, no, I
okay.
think that's fair. Just because I think in yeah, there's the personal preference there of
Hmm.
where characters, which teams we like to see him on. So that's
Yeah.
fair.
So one that I don't think you're going to know much about, and maybe you do, is Zuriel.
Mm-hmm.
Any
Yeah,
opinions on him?
not a lot of strong opinions from me on that. I'm gonna be honest with
Okay.
you.
Because I think he was a part of the team. Was that Grant Morrison that was writing the books then?
Yeah, I think that might have been when he was at least showing up more. I don't know if he introduced
Right.
him, but he definitely
No, I don't.
was
Yeah.
more of into utilizing him as a
Hmm.
character. So I need to learn more about him for sure if I were to
Hmm.
fight you for a high ranking.
Yeah. I mean, to me, even like, I don't know. I
I
don't
mean, you
think
kinda like that he's got wings and a sword, though. I mean, come on.
that's all I need to know about him is he's got wings and a flaming sword. Um, and
how,
he was
how
one that
how
kind
much
of,
is that?
if I was doing my own ranking, he'd be in the love him category. But I get that that is a little crazy. So if we should put
Yeah,
him
I'm
lower,
not going to let you do that.
do you want to put him in the meh just because he's kind of not really around ever?
Yeah, I'm gonna give him a meh. But if
All
you're
right.
fighting for like him,
No,
we can
no,
talk
it's
about it.
fine. It's fine.
If you got to
But he
love
was
him
one
for
that
him,
prompted
then
me.
Mr. Miracle gets to go to love him. That's for sure.
We'll leave him where they're at
That
for
like
now.
him category is getting. Oh, how dare you?
That's what I'm
Okay.
saying. And we
All
still
right.
got some other good characters left.
All
But
right.
Zuriel was one that made me want to do a future episode about comics and religion and kind of
Ooh,
how they're portrayed. So that was kind of my idea for wanting
catalyst
to
for that.
do that
All
one.
right.
Yeah. So stay
I
tuned. Maybe
like
we'll
it.
do that one in the near future. I know
All
you're
right.
a big fan of Green Arrow.
I do like Green Arrow quite a bit. I think
How much do you like Green Arrow?
I would put him pretty high, dude. I'm gonna go on a limb and give him a goat.
Hmm. I think out of all the ones left, he's the most deserving of it. So
But I think what
I'll
Green
allow it.
Arrow always does is he's more of the like I think he's more of an interesting philosophical character for me
Mm,
of like
okay.
what he kind of brings to the table usually as far as like he's the one to kind of stir the pot, but not to me in like a Guy Gardner way where he's just kind of a
Mm,
tool. But like
yeah.
usually you're like, Green Arrow's got a point, and whether or not it's gonna be what everyone goes with, I think he's kind of there to poke the team and maybe be a little, like you're kind of losing sight of the regular people in some ways. So,
Mm,
and like I
yeah.
said, I also really love the like the longbow hunter storyline. I think makes him pretty cool. But
Hmm.
also those classic like Green Lantern, Green Arrow crossover comics from I think those were in like the
Yeah.
70s, but those ones are pretty cool if you get into those, where they're
True.
kind of like just going across the country and going on adventures and stuff. So
Hmm.
I like Green Arrow for that, and I'm gonna stand by that one.
Okay. Do you have any other? Did you think any of these ones were goats left over here?
I don't know if I'd say goat, but I think Captain
Okay.
Marvel deserves a high ranking.
Put them in the love them category.
I'm gonna give him a love him. I always like the
Okay.
duality with the Billy
True.
Bastion um, stuff.
Hmm. Yeah, I think he's cool. I like his, like, again, was that Public Enemies where
Hmm.
he's him and Captain Atom team up to take on Superman and Batman.
Right.
So I thought that was a cool one. And then yeah, just as a character, I do like his power set.
Hmm.
Another one though that I think should go in the love him. Maybe you'll fight me on it, but I like Black Lightning a lot.
All right. That's
Yeah.
fair.
All
I'll
right.
give it to you.
Nice. Very
You gave
nice.
me Green Arrow. I know you were resistant, but I'll
Yeah,
I'll give you
I can
Black
see him as a
Lightning
goat.
there.
Okay. He's another one that, like, I've read some of his like standalone stories and they're cool,
Hmm.
but he's one that I don't even think I would have to read. I could just look at the costume and the, well, maybe it's also like watch Static Shock growing up. So this is kind of like the adult version of Static Shock.
Right.
Um,
Yeah,
so he's cool. I like him.
I think that is fair.
Um, anything else? Any of these other characters down here, our last four, do they deserve to be in the love 'em category for you?
Hmm. The one that I like the most out of those would be Zatanna.
Mm-hmm. Would she be, you like her enough to put her in the love 'em, or is
I
she
think you
more
should
just in the like 'em?
I think Doctor Fate should be a goat, and then Zatanna's a love him. But maybe
Oh,
you'll
okay.
fight me on that.
No, I don't fight you on that.
All right,
I
then I'd
like it.
give her a love him. And to be quite honest, I've never had much affiliation or attachment to the Red Tornado, nor really to Firestorm.
Firestorm was kind of bigger for me around like the Blackest Night,
Hmm.
which I don't even think is this Firestorm. Um, he was cool. I feel like I don't know. Red Tornado for me is a fun, like, I like
Man,
the
Red
android
Tornado's
aspect.
a nah. I'm never calling that guy, but
Okay, I'll let you have that hot take. I like him more than that, but okay. We got to fill in that bottom, so I won't fight you hard on him. Firestorm, I'm gonna say meh, just
all right,
because
that's fair.
he's like powerful, but almost like, I don't know, his
Hmm.
like molecular switcheroos that he can do is just kind of like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I just haven't read the right story,
Hmm.
but I don't know. The Blackest Night was kind of cool, like especially when you've got him fighting Deathstorm. But anyway, he's sticking with the mess. Roast me in the comments if you
All
have
right.
to. Power
Hmm.
Girl, I wouldn't rank her lower than Supergirl because I honestly like Power Girl more than Supergirl, but I could keep
I
them on
think
the same
that's
level
that's
unless you
I would
want to.
agree with that.
Okay.
I'll give you that.
So that is our final ranking. We've got, unless you're feeling like you got to change anything, but I think that's pretty solid.
Yeah, I mean, you're kind of just holding Mr. Miracle back, but it's whatever.
You want him as 11? It would make things
I
look a
want
little
him
more
there.
even if he was up there. All right,
I
there you
want
go.
him there. Yeah. Okay. I think I could live with this ranking.
Okay.
I kind of just want to see each one as a team now in a story. Would be fun.
Hmm. Yeah, I think.
Like
Yeah,
you send the goats into space. The love you lower as you go down.
yeah, that pretty much.
It's tough
Yeah,
though
make.
because I think you have a lot of like even more so I noticed than our Avengers. They're kind of like more weird in some ways. Some of these
Hmm.
characters. Does that
Oh
make
yeah,
sense? What I'm
for
saying,
sure.
like they're very different and very unique and like
Hmm.
almost. And I think that's the strength of a good team. Kind of reminds me of the X-Men, where it's like
Hmm.
not everyone is just going to dominate in every situation, but like if you have very specific scenarios, there's certain
Hmm.
characters, like you said, that kind of shine through. And it's not just like, of course, you have the goats, the heavy hitters, but I think all of these characters in different ways would be cool to see in various stories.
Yeah, I definitely would like to do a future episode where we're kind of pulling different characters into making different teams for
Yeah.
different scenarios. So I think that'll be a cool one. Another, I mean, leave a comment down below on what you want to see for a ranking video. But one that I'm kind of thinking of now after talking about like Jaime Reyes and Cyborg, I kind of want to do like a young heroes type of ranking. So whether that be
Mm.
like Teen
Yeah.
Titans, even some like Young Avengers,
Hmm.
Champions, maybe Legion of Superheroes, kind of bringing some of those characters together and doing a ranking with them. So
Those are our rankings for the Justice League. I'm glad Dakota went along and let me pull some up to the top. Nice change of pace. Let us know below, of course, in a comment what you would like to see us rank moving forward for a chance to win a comic capsule with that spawn number 350. Just be sure to be subscribed. Also, leave that comment, and we will do a drawing in a future episode to determine who's going to get that. So, until next time, please be liking, sharing, subscribing, and as always, stay strong.